Is that? Yee! We getting it, boy.
What's good? You know who it is. It's your boy, Jay in the Bay.
Your baller back again. Smells like football season.
Yo.
Yeah.
Whoa.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome to Straight Outta The Bay. I'm joined with my boys, Rich Celts, Jay in the Bay. Hopefully, Amin stops by. We're going to be breaking down all things Niners. I got to say what's up to my boys. Jay, how you feeling today?
What's good? Hey, I'm feeling real good, man. The Niners are 2-0. Two wins on the road. Well, I guess you could say the Niners are the only team in the NFL that has two home stadiums. I guess you could kind of say that. But hey, we starting off 2-0. What could be better, right?
No doubt. Celts, how you feeling?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good. Hey, it's victory freaking Monday. Let's get it. Let's go. 2-0. Hey, man, what more could you want for a team that supposedly starts slow? Hey, man, we're in there. We started this thing off the right way. What's up, Jesus? Niner gang. Let's get it. Bang, bang.
Hey, fellas, I don't know what it is, but I'm feeling, I got a little stash. I haven't shaved since, the season's kicked off, right? And the Niners haven't shaved the mustache, to correct myself. I'm thinking I can't shave this thing until the Niners lose. It's just how it popped into my brain today. And you know what? I'm rolling with it. So hopefully we get this long, ugly, dirty-looking stash coming on pretty soon. It's already getting there. But, hey, just to update you guys, Baller ain't shaving the stash until the Niners drop.
Hey, it's good luck. It's good luck, Baller.
Hashtag the baller stash right there. Hey, the baller stash did it, man. Let's go. I like it, man. Man, it's giving me baseball vibes.
Hey, so the Niners, they took down the Rams 30-23. I want to start off with just some general thoughts about the game. And why don't I kick it off first? Because first, I got to give kudos to Matt Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams, like their game plan coming in, because it was apparent to me that they were working on the quick passing game. They wanted to negate the pass rush, right? We know the Niners, they got this dominant front four, and they came in with the mindset to get the ball out quick, to kind of negate that pass rush. So I thought it was a good game plan by the Rams. And the Niners, they were playing this soft defense. Like, I was actually pretty frustrated in that first half. Rams start off field goal, touchdown. And Stafford's completing all. They weren't huge chunk plays, but they're 7-yard catches, 10-yard catches, 6-yard catches. Like Puka Nacua was just catching balls all over the place, right? Tutu. So the bend but don't break style of defense was actually frustrating me early. But in the long run, fellas, it worked out, because when teams are trying to string together 15-play drives, it's hard to do consistently. Like, they did it those first 3 drives, and then after that, Kyron Williams drops a pass tipped up in the air, or, another Van Jefferson drops a ball. Like, mistakes happen. It's hard to put together 15-play drives consistently. So those were just a couple of thoughts I had about this one. But Jay, I want to ask you, what are some general thoughts you picked up on in this game?
Hey, absolutely. But first, I got to say, what's good to everybody that's in the chat right now. If you guys are happy about the Niners being 2-0, man, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. We would appreciate it. For me, my general thoughts about the victory, it was a tale of two halves. You just illustrated that the Rams pretty much, I think they scored on every possession in the first half. The 49ers did not force them to punt. And they were basically able to do what they wanted to do. I think Fred Warner said in an interview that the Rams offense, they just took what we gave them, and what the Niners defense gave the Rams offense was just, hey, we're playing our corners back 10, 12 yards. Puka Nakua, yeah, the rookie, he had the most catches in his first 2 games ever in the NFL, like 20 plus catches. I know whoever has him in fantasy, hey, he might have won you your fantasy game yesterday.
Damn you,
But,
baller. Hey,
that'd be me.
Hey, he got me on the waiver. He got me on the waivers, bro. I tried it as soon as that Seattle game was over. I tried to snatch
Yeah.
him.
But he is talented. He was playing, and we're talking about Puka Nakua. He's talented. He's playing with the rib. They put extra padding on him, but he showed a lot of heart out there. Kudos to the Rams. They got some young talent. Kyron Williams at running back, Matt Stafford. They played pretty well. Stafford was getting rid of the ball quickly. I see now why the Seahawks didn't have any sacks the first week when they played the Rams, because Stafford's just getting rid of the ball. He's an older statesman now in the NFL. He's not trying to get hit. So hey, Rams put up an excellent fight, but as I said, it was a tale of 2 halves, and me and Kels were talking, and I was like, man, this Puka guy's a problem, and then Kels was like, hey man, just wait, Wilkes, the defensive coordinator, he's just going to make some adjustments. I was like, all right, we'll see. And that's exactly what happened. The Rams offense was it was broken in the second half, I think you could say, compared to the first half. I thought that Wilkes was blitzing in the first half, but we just didn't get home. That's what I noticed. We just didn't get home in the first half. In the second half, we did on several occasions. Fred Warner, obviously, we got some turnovers. So I thought that the defense really came up big when we needed them to in the second half, and I think that really capped off the game, because the Rams only scored 7 points in the second half, I believe, or 6 points. And so yeah, that was my general thoughts. Great. I thought it was great play calling by Shanahan. I think we'll talk about that a little bit later, but yeah, great calling, great offensive game plan by Shanahan. I thought the defense came up big when we needed them to. They were kind of a bend but don't break defense. If we keep scoring 30 points, that may work. And this defense gets timely turnovers, that may work. But yeah, those are my general thoughts about the game.
Coach.
General thoughts, man. It's my brain is thinking about so many different things, but yeah, man, I'm having a little bit of a brain fart right now. My bad.
Well, let me give. I'm gonna give you one, and then we'll go. Okay,
no, go ahead, bro. Go ahead. Because I wanted to come to me exactly what I was thinking, like, because I had a really, I want to touch on Bosa, but I also want to, allude to what you guys were both talking about. I feel like a lot of times the credit to the opposition gets lost in the sauce. We were talking last Monday, or I was talking last Monday, how, hey, Stafford is not picky. Stafford is not picky. He's a veteran. He's arguably a Hall of Famer. Like that coach and that quarterback combination won a Super Bowl. I know a lot of pieces are gone, but when your main components, the head coach and the quarterback, have won a Super Bowl together, they know how to get the job done. They didn't. Seattle is one of the hardest places to go up and play, and we seen what they did up there. But talking about the game plan that you said with the Rams, that negated the pass rush. That kind of they were on point. That you took the words out of my thoughts, baller, with the bend and don't break. So that was a huge thing. And I want to say something to Jesus that was in the comments. Bosa had amazing production. None of it, sometimes it does not pop up on the stats. Don't go listening to what other people say if they haven't watched the tape a few times. And now, if the person has watched the tape and have put it in slow-mo and actually watching these reps, trust that person. But if you just know someone's loosely just talking, oh, no sacks, oh yeah, he sucked. Nah, man, do a little bit more research, because I'm telling you right now, Bosa was wreaking havoc. Bosa was in the backfield, but they had a good game plan. If they didn't have the game plan that they had, Bosa probably comes away at least 2 sacks, at least. And then be like, oh my God, Bosa was phenomenal. But Bosa got a few holding calls. Most of the incompletions was due to the pressure, and it doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but we're in a dogfight, division rival, on the road, back-to-back road games. Those were most of my overall thoughts. And then I'll tell you guys, I was frustrated with the missed deep shots by Purdy. And then I was also thinking, hey, this is a rookie. I know it's second year. This is a rookie in what is ninth game coming off of major surgery. He'll get it together because I feel like he's got that fire to want to get better at that. Because I did have a flashback of Jimmy in the Super Bowl. I did. I was like, hey, but I do know that he will sharpen it up and we're gonna see how it plays out, man. So I wasn't even tripping off that after I was initially. So those were my overall thoughts. A win is a win, baby.
No
What's
doubt. As
what's
we
up, Amin?
welcome Amin the Dream.
What's good?
What's up, y'all? What's up?
Me.
Hey, feeling good. We were kicking it around, talking about just some general thoughts about this Niners win over the Rams. Before we kick it to you, I'm going to talk about the drive before half because I thought that was huge, right? The Niners were down 17-10, with a minute 45 left. Niners got the ball back, and that 2-minute drive before half I thought was huge, tying it up. Brock Purdy had a few nice plays. Debo had a nice run after the catch. He hit Jawan down the seam, kind of on a high point. Thought that was a really one of Brock's better throws on the day. But tying that up at half, I thought was huge, especially with the Rams getting the ball after halftime. It was just it was a clutch drive there. Amin, what are some general thoughts you had about this win?
Speaking on that 2-minute drive, love the aggressiveness from Kyle Shanahan. The fact that he kept them out there and he let Brock Purdy in that offense do their thing to get that touchdown. I love that because usually you see Kyle Shanahan play this conservative game where he's like, you know what, in the past, you might see him kick that field goal, right?
It's a new Kyle. Do we have a new Kyle this year? Because it's like he was aggressive,
But you know why I think? You know what?
Yes.
I don't necessarily. Here's the thing, though. I don't necessarily think it's a new Kyle. I just think
It's a
because
new
Kyle
Kyle.
Shanahan has so much faith in Brock Purdy, that's what. Like, I feel like Kyle Shanahan. It's not that Kyle Shanahan didn't always like. Kyle Shanahan probably was an aggressive coach, right? Even back in his days, even though I haven't seen Kyle Shanahan in Washington and things like that, but. It's not like one year you're not aggressive and you're like a conservative coach, and then the next year you're like, I'm going to go full out aggressive. Frick this, right? I don't think it's necessarily a new Kyle Shanahan. I just think because he trusts Brock Purdy so much and has so much faith in the kid that he's like, you know what, Brock, show us what you could do. I trust you. Go make something happen, right? So that 2-minute drive was great. I love that 2-minute drive. I thought we were going to go kick it for a field goal. I love the aggressive Kyle Shanahan to go out and get that touchdown. What a drive, what a way to end the half. In terms of Brock Purdy and his play, everybody's been putting out on the Twitter timeline and the worst game that Brock Purdy has played so far. And respectfully, right, like it's one of his first games coming back off, his second game coming back from a major injury. But on top of that, let's just be honest. Every quarterback misses a couple of deep shots a game. Mahomes does it. Allen does it. Like every quarterback does it. If you're just now, if you have 3 opportunities, would I have loved to seen Brock Purdy at least hit 1 or 2 of them, like the one at Debo or Ayuk? Yes, of course. And will that necessarily, and come playoff time, can you afford to miss those deep passes? Can Purdy afford to miss those passes? Not necessarily, but in terms of his second game and him missing those 3 passes, like every quarterback does it. All the good quarterbacks do it. Mahomes does it. Allen does it. Everybody does it. It's not really something that's just Brock Purdy. As much as I would have loved to seen him hit at least one of the 3. But regardless of that, the thing about Brock Purdy is in the past, when you look at this Niners team and what makes them so good has been the defense. And going back to the Raiders game and even going back to going back to yesterday, the defense, as much as they cleaned it up in the second half, the first half, the defense was not good. But what made the Niners still be in the game was that offense and Brock Purdy, by him having those drives near the end of the second half for that touchdown, by him, just playing good football and this offense executing at a high level with him under center. So credit to Brock Purdy because, this is one of the first times where when the Niners defense is lacking, the Niners offense has the ability to step it up and really, when the defense is struggling, the Niners offense can, put up points and still keep them in the game. Whereas in the years past, you would really rely on this defense to really keep you a hold. And then the offense would just, it would still be good, but it would be like a, whatever offense. Like it was still a good offense, but it wasn't like if your defense is struggling, they could put up a 30 piece on you and they could really, put up back-to-back drives where they're scoring touchdowns and the offense is putting up 30 a game. So credit to Brock Purdy. The deep passes, like I said, obviously I would have loved to seen him hit at least one of the three, but every quarterback misses a deep ball. It happens every game. So
and they weren't off by much, right?
And they weren't off by much. I just feel like, okay, my thing is, I don't think he planted. Like, I feel like on most of them, he didn't plant. He just went boom. Like, he
was pressured. He was pressured too. One of them specifically.
On one of them, he was pressured. But I feel like I didn't like. If I like the one of Jennings, he planted and he threw it to Jennings. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
I gotta plug in my laptop real quick. My laptop's gonna die.
Yeah. Do that. I mean,
do that. Yeah, man. I can't believe neither one of us. I know we'll probably get there, but I might as well do it now, man. CMC and Fred Warner. CMC and Fred Warner. I don't even. That's almost all I really even need to say. Can I just say, man, these are, I think we're watching two Hall of Famers. That's not Nick Bosa or Trent Williams, because both of these guys are universal. And I don't think either one of these guys, I don't think Fred gets enough credit because there's not a weakness in any one of those players' games. CMC and Fred Warner, like, show me the weakness in those dogs, man. And the choke slam by CMC, like to a little cupcake Witherspoon, man. Absolutely beautiful Pampers. I mean, cotton nail soft. I freaking love it, man. I had to just mention those two guys' names. I'm gonna probably talk about them again because we're watching something special. Sometimes we get used to watching the same people. It's easy to take it for granted, you feel me? But watching something special in San Fran for sure. San Francisco.
Yeah. Absolutely, no doubt. Hey, any last general thoughts before we go to our offensive and defensive standouts? Any last thoughts, just kind of in general?
Moody.
No. Moody. Hey, yeah, absolutely.
Moody.
Absolutely. And 57 yards, fellas. Ooh. 57? And it looked like there was a few extra, yards that could have been tacked on and the kick would have held up. So absolutely. Love to see that.
Who's the 49ers kicker before Jake Moody? I don't remember. Like, I don't remember at home, but I don't remember who the Niners. Was it Phil Dawson? I don't remember. I don't remember.
David Akers.
About Jose Cortez.
Oh, no.
Jose Cortez.
Funny how things change. Let me mention that.
Mommy's way.
Things change. It's funny how things changed in a few weeks. People were saying, well, some people, and I know, you look at Twitter and that's not really a reliable source. That's not really that's not representing the masses of people, but people were saying Jake Moody is a bust and all this. He missed a few kicks in preseason. That's why you can't overreact to stuff. Also, we might get to this name. Well, I'll save this name later. Somebody else might mention it, but I'm sure we'll get to this other name. But yeah, let's read that super chat.
Oh,
money is flowing.
Let's go
random electronic. I don't know who this is to, because this is being streamed on multiple platforms. So it's a random electronic. Hey, thanks for swinging by and dropping off that 5 spot.
Appreciate that.
No worries about the Purdy overthrows. He has made those throws many times before. And 2, the throws he did make were much harder. Random electronics. He's saying, hey, pump the brakes. Purdy made some impressive throws.
Speaking of throws, real quick, baller. Speaking of throws, arguably my favorite throw of the night. And I think he got a little bit lucky on it, but Aaron Donald straight up came off the right side and he ran through Colton McKivitz, and Purdy just stood there. I don't know if he saw Aaron Donald or not.
Yeah.
And I think he threw a dime or like
tough.
Yeah, to like Brandon Ayuk or Debo in like this tight window. It was a little bit low, but he still like stood his ground. He didn't take the sack and he got it out. I mean, we saw what Geno Smith said last week when Aaron Donald was coming his way, but I mean, Brock Purdy, for him to stand there and make that throw, like, that was impressive. I think it was a little bit of luck, but it was also a little bit luck because, I mean, Aaron Donald was literally like a hand away from just bringing Brock Purdy down. But the fact that he got that ball out and he wasn't, like, scared or nothing. Because, I mean, if Aaron Donald's coming at you.
He knew he was coming, too, and he stood tough, bro. So, good. Keep going.
Yeah. Credit to Brock, man.
Real talk. Hey, y'all did see what Amin was just talking about when Aaron Donald was coming through on Geno? Y'all seen that little clip?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. He's seen his life flash real quick.
Right before his eyes. And that's another thing. We didn't really hear much Aaron Donald, right? I mean, I'm not gonna say he's neutralized or anything like that, but he didn't really put his stamp on the game. I didn't really see much from him.
No, I agree with you. Why don't we switch it up and let's go with the offensive standouts. We're going to kick it around and everyone mention a player who you thought, hey, balled out against the Rams. So why don't we start it off with the youngster, Amin the Dream, who stood out on offense?
Debo.
Whoa.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh, come on.
I mean, I'll leave Christian McCaffrey to y'all, but Debo Samuel, I mean, straight up dog. Every time he plays the Rams, like it's almost like we talking about Brock Purdy with the Mamba mentality, Michael Jordan. I took it personally. Time Debo faces steps on the field and the Rams are his opponent, he takes it personally. And he has like a highlight. He has at least one highlight, like crazy clip that people talk about. I mean, that what he broke 2 tackles and he took it to the end zone. I mean, Debo Samuel. And then another guy, one last guy I would say is Ayuk. Even though he didn't have a monster game like he did last week, for him to still stay in the game with that shoulder injury and to not, tap out and quit. I mean, credit to Brandon Ayuk for the toughness and the resilience to stay out there and the dedication to stay out there even with that shoulder injury.
No doubt. Kelts, who stood out on offense?
Man, I'm gonna leave the ones for you guys, man, and just to piggyback off of us talking about Aaron freaking Donald. I'm gonna go ahead and say that interior offensive line as a unit, and I almost specifically want to talk about Burford just because I was just was just aware on Twitter from my man Eric Ballers.
Let him know. It makes no freaking sense. It makes no sense, Kel.
PFF is just hold on, man. I wish I could show y'all GIFs and emojis and things because they are just blowing smoke. They are talking out their ass. Like PFF, what the hell is good? Hold on. PFF needs to lay it down, man. I don't know what they're shooting from over out of left field out of their neck because I didn't see. I guess they gave him a 0 on the passing, or the pass blocking was a 0. Like how the hell? I mean, I could see if you gave up 4 sacks or something. It's just ridiculous. Don't believe everything PFF says. So I'm gonna give it to the.
What I gotta say, do we trust PFF?
Hell no. To the no. Yeah, to the no.
Hell no.
Why are they hating on this man, Spencer Burford? Even during week 1, he got a horrendous grade from PFF. And I know he had a couple penalties.
Come on.
Oh, me and you, we watched the tape. I don't see anything egregious from Spencer Burford just letting defensive linemen run right past him.
Bro.
That's not happening.
Nah.
So, am I ready to call him an all-pro right guard as of right now? No, but
he's serviceable.
He got a 0.
He got a 0
in pass blocking.
Faithful.
Like, does that mean he didn't block anybody for the whole game? Like, come on, PFF.
Does that mean he didn't even play the game? Like, how could you get a 0?
I'm preaching to y'all, Faithful.
I'm going to reach out to someone on PFF and try to get him on here so they can defend who the hell is giving these zeros.
Bro, I want y'all to Burford. I want to see y'all break the film down because I don't know how y'all generating the number. Please elaborate for us. That's one of my favorite words, being older now. I didn't used to know some of these words, but elaborate. Like no. Hold on, slow down. Hey, give me details on how you concocted this because it's ridiculous. Please do. Because it's ridiculous. He's serviceable. There shouldn't be no 0. Like it's dumb. I mean, it's just, hey, Faithful, I urge y'all, don't just go off of PFFs or some people's words. Put the tape on and watch it for yourself. And if you don't have access to it, Baller watches tape. I watch tape. I'm not sure about Jay and the meme, but I know that they know what they're looking at. I do know that. So, hey, man, trust some reliable sources because it was whack. Great job by the interior line. Brendel, I haven't locked in on Brendel as much, but I'm gonna go do it. But Brendel, Banks, I seen Banks doing some good things. The whole line for that matter. And of course, you're gonna get blown up here and there. So I'm gonna go with that interior O line. That's my
Banks has
standout.
looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
Banks looks like a Pro Bowler at left guard. Like he's a wall out there,
Yeah,
not
he
letting
is.
anyone get past him. I thought he was great versus the Steelers. I'll go back when the All 22 comes out and watch this last game. But from the color copy, I thought Banks was excellent. Brendel, I like what I've seen. Really, the offensive line has outperformed my expectations.
Let's go, baby.
McKivitz, we know he had a couple lapses against one of the best pass rushers in all the NFL. I thought McKivitz was pretty solid yesterday. Just really the offensive line, I think, has performed well through 2 games. And I'm looking at some of these other teams, like you take a look at Daniel Jones, and who we're going to see here on Thursday. We'll be breaking down that game, but the Cowboys gave him all sorts of trouble. He couldn't put up a point against the Cowboys. And even the Cardinals were pitching a shut. It's just the pass rush. A lot of these offensive lines are porous with holes at 2 or 3 spots or sub-caliber play. And the Niners, I'm feeling pretty good through 2 games about this line.
Let's go.
Yeah. So let's go Jay. Let's go Jay.
Yeah, I saw a crazy stat on Twitter, and I know, I unfortunately I can't get up to watch offensive lineman film. I know my limitations, and that's just not in me. But on Twitter, someone said that Banks hasn't allowed a sack, a pressure, or a quarterback hit in 62 pass blocking opportunities. So that's definitely something to be applauded. He's playing exceptional. Another guy who didn't really hit the ground running with the Niners, didn't get many offensive snaps his first season, but you got to allow guys to cultivate, get better at their craft. Just because they drop a pass in a preseason game, that don't mean they should get cut. It's just got to allow guys to improve and get better. So that was my honorable mention. But for me, it was not a player, because you could go a myriad of ways of players. But to me, it was Kyle Shanahan. Eric mentioned earlier that first half, into the first half drive with 2 minutes to go to tie the game. I just thought he was definitely aggressive, and I like the play calling. Brock Purdy also made some great throws. Juwan Jennings, he doesn't catch a lot of balls, but usually when you throw it his way, he definitely comes down with the pass. And what impressed me most about the drive was Purdy's poise. Like when they were in the goal line, if he didn't see an open receiver, he just threw it out of bounds. Why? To preserve the clock. And that's something that you would expect a 5-10 year vet to do, not someone who's starting his 9th or 10th game. So that's something that just stood out to me. Like, oh snap, no wide receiver open, just throw it out of bounds, save the clock. And then for Shanahan to call a quarterback sneak with 1 second left, that I wasn't expecting that. I definitely was not expecting that. So my offensive standout is a Kyle Shanahan / Purdy for poise, play calling, and that was it for me.
Love it. And it does feel like we're seeing like a new Kyle Shanahan kind of.
Yes, we are.
With this new development of thought process, being a little more aggressive. So, and I'm here for it. I think we've all been wanting Kyle to be a little more aggressive over the last few years. So looks like, hey, maybe we get what we're asking for. Yeah. And for the standouts, you guys took a lot of the good ones, right? CMC, although I don't think we talked about CMC quite enough. McCaffrey, man, he's been running the ball well. And again, we got to give kudos to the O-line because they're creating some alleys. Some of these holes that McCaffrey are running through, I mean, you could drive a truck through these lanes. So kudos to the O-line. But I thought McCaffrey's vision has been excellent. No, he's not hitting every hole, right? There were a couple times, maybe I thought he could have cut it, but majority of the time, it feels like he's maximizing the yards that are available. The 50-yard run at the end of the first quarter was huge. He's back-to-back games. He's had just huge chunk yardage. runs. And the other player I wanted to spotlight, you mentioned him briefly, Jay, but it's Jawan Jennings. You know, he only had the 2 catches for 51 yards. That's good for 25 and a half yards per catch. That's a lot of yards. But it felt like they were big catches.
Yeah.
One of them came on that 2-minute drive. One of them was a catch in traffic where the DB was just draped all over him. But Purdy's trusting these guys to make catches down the field. That's where Jimmy, I don't think Jimmy would make that throw. Jimmy would hold on. He would look. And
he wouldn't even think about it, baller. He wouldn't even think about it.
He
wouldn't even look that way. He would start.
Hey, you just looked at my notes, huh? I just wrote it down. Keep going, bro. Great minds think alike. Keep going.
Jimmy would not throw these contested balls like the touchdown BA caught against the Steelers. This ball Jawan caught down the side. Those balls aren't getting thrown. Jimmy's ball patting and trying to look somewhere else, probably getting sacked and maybe his ankle twisted. But that being said, we don't got to deal with that no more, fellas. That's the Raiders' problem. And I don't know if you watched Jimmy, but Jimmy had a couple.
Hey, that wasn't Jimmy's fault, man. That wasn't Jimmy's fault.
It was the O-line. The
It was the
receiver
O-line,
didn't break.
the
The
weather,
didn't
the
call the right play. Hey, good point, Jay, on the throwaways, because I've been big on the throwaways. I've been big on those little things, man, that make or break a drive. And again, a game of inches. Pause, but no,
it made a huge difference. It made a huge difference. I just want to give a quick shout out to the Ayuk show, getting hurt on the first offensive drive. As soon as he landed kind of weird and he walked off, I was like, it looked like it was either neck or shoulder or something. And he ended up having, I think, 3 catches, 30 plus yards, I think he played the rest, maybe like 53% of the rest of the offensive snaps. So kudos for him. He showed heart, he showed grit, he showed toughness. Obviously he couldn't play every snap, but I like that he went out there and at least tried to give it his all. And I mean, what else could you ask for? So I would be surprised if he played on Thursday, but hey, he gave all he could, and I appreciate that from the Ayuk show.
No doubt. Hey, next up, let's flip it to the defensive side of the ball. I want to hear who you guys thought stood out defensively, who was making plays. I thought that they kind of started out slow, but ramped things up as the game went on. And again, let's go to the youngster, the Dream. You know, defensively, who are you looking at?
I'm gonna pass the hot potato over to Kelts because I haven't heard much of Kelts, and then I'll give my little thing. But I'm gonna pass the hot potato to Kelts.
Okay, all right.
I got a couple that I want to pick or choose, man, it's like I got this feeling like I want to defend Bosa for how he was wreaking havoc, but you couldn't see it on it. But you know what? I gotta go Fred Warner, man. I gotta go. Man, I feel like if he puts together a few more all-pro seasons, like it doesn't all show up on the stat sheet, but this man, Fred Warner, where is his weakness? Could you imagine if they had this man blitzing his whole career? You would see a lot more sacks. I know they're going to look at stats when it comes down to it, but this man could probably get sacks, get a sack a game, man, if he was being utilized. But then to be able to be blitzed like that and have that strength and just that dog, but then to be able to drop back and arguably be maybe one of the better drop back, the best in history, like the best. And I know he has the safety background, but he's the best linebacker in history of covering, playing
in
safety.
In zone coverage.
There's no
linebacker that does it better.
And then for him to be able to just smash on folks, it's not like he's just like, he's a really good drop back linebacker, but he could work. What does Fred got to work on? And then the leadership, and then just all the way around from head to toe. This man, Fred Warner, is an absolute dog. He's a professional. He's a leader. There's no weakness in his game. I hope he just has, I hope on paper, like the stats show it this year, and he is just like praised by media, just from every outlet. Man, big time flowers to Fred Warner, real talk.
No doubt. I'm glad you mentioned him. Well worthy of a mention. Hey, Glass Full says, when
Dig
are
the dog.
Clone and his Colts gonna admit Purdy's good? Glass Full, I can't answer that for you.
Aren't they already? They're not doing that already. I haven't seen
Well,
Cone for a minute, man.
Well, I will give you a response to that though. I think Purdy's definitely better than what we've had, and so far he looks like the real deal. But at the same time, I'm not fully convinced yet Brock Purdy's a quarterback that we can win a Super Bowl with.
Whoa.
I'm not gonna
Hold
100%.
up.
I'm not gonna put that out there yet. And I'm not the first one that said this, but I think Rob.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, guys.
He said Rob Stats. Oh man.
Did it mean Wi-Fi cut out?
His connection is getting a little bit hairy. Amin, he's kind of talking crazy.
Hell no, to the no, no, no. Yeah, to the no.
Okay, let's go. Is he back? Amin, sorry, you cut out there. We lost you there for a second. Are you back? Okay.
All right, let's carry on, boys. Let's carry on.
Oh man, no. I have to mention someone. And I mean, did y'all see Javon Kinlaw? I mean, tell me you saw Javon Kinlaw in the fourth quarter force a 3rd and 5. He couldn't get to Stafford. He put his big hand up there and blocked his pass. I know y'all saw that. Tell me you saw it.
I thought he was going to intercept it.
That was what I noticed from Javon Kinlaw, but nah.
But there's more. Can I add to that? Real
Absolutely.
quick? Don't lose your thought, because Kinlaw is on my list. And since you brought him up, he was a standout to me. Coming in, fellas, I was expecting little to nothing for Javon. I didn't want to have these expectations only to have Javon let me down once again. So I came into the year with these low expectations. Fellas, I'm glad I did it, because Javon has been impressive.
Mm-hmm.
This past game with the Rams, he had the tip pass, but watching the film, he's pushing the pocket. Stafford was getting the ball out quick, which is why he only got sacked one time. Right. But you could see Javon, pushing these offensive linemen back into Stafford, just making it a little more difficult. And I'm saying, all right, big 99, like, hey, keep bringing it. So I'm glad you brought him up, Jay. And I'm going to kick it back to you, because I think you got another guy you want to shout out.
Hey, absolutely. We got to talk about Isaiah Oliver. I mean, he struggled a little bit in the preseason. He's learning the defense. He's trying to get his feet situated, but he played big in the game yesterday. That's for sure. Some of the plays that stood out from him, he blitzed. He blitzed Matt Stafford in the offense, and it was a turnover on downs. That play ended the game. So that was a huge play. I think he was lined up next to Fred, and he just trusted his instincts, went after the running back and tripped him up, and Bosa made the tackle, but that pretty much ended the game. Before that, in the second half, Stafford threw a pass out to Williams, and Oliver got the interception. Williams took his eyes off the ball. So that was a heady play by Oliver to be in the right spot, to be right on the receiver's hip, and to make a play on the ball. So kudos to him for that. And Isaiah Oliver, I don't know why he loved hitting Kyler Williams, the running back, but he also hit him on a big 3rd down play that prevented a 1st down. So he made most of his plays in the second half, but I got to give kudos to Isaiah Oliver, because I know when we signed him, it was like, oh, we're bringing in. We're bringing back the reincarnation of K'Wan Williams or something. Like, he's just supposed to dominate at that nickel spot, and he didn't really hit the ground running. But it's good to see him have success, and we needed it. We needed him to be productive in a big way, and he was. The interception, tackle for loss. He really did it all in that game, and he showed that he belongs in this secondary. So definitely good to see Isaiah Oliver. Definitely giving him his kudos, man.
Big 4th down. He had a big 4th down. I don't think he made the tackle, but he blew it up in the backfield and really slowed down the back.
He tripped him up, slowed his and Bosa finished it up. Yeah,
that was huge.
He did his impersonation of Jamie Ward or Jimmy Ward. He did the impersonation, because that's how Jimmy Ward would get his picks, off of a tip, come down with. It was very for me, it was reminiscent of that. Real talk. Oh, no,
Hey,
another
here we
one.
go.
Another super chat.
No
Hot
doubt.
diggity
Random
dog.
electronic. Hey, thanks for that 5 spot. We appreciate it. Should have closed the Rams game out on at least 2 occasions. Thoughts on the offensive play calling?
I would say the offensive play calling was fine. I think if Purdy hits on those passes to Ayuk to Debo, I think those are 6 points. Honestly, we left some meat on the bone. We should have scored more than 30 points, but I'm not really making a big deal about his overthrows because it didn't come back to hurt us. Fortunately, our defense really stepped up in the second half. I don't know how the other gentlemen feel, but I thought the play calling was
I
good.
immediately put out a tweet because I like to sometimes immediately throw something out. So it's like, hey, nah, I said that, right off top. You know what I'm saying? So, it doesn't look like I'm biting off of somebody. People be coming at me all kind of weird. You feel me? So it's like, I was like, man, this is probably Brock, in my opinion, this is Brock's worst game from what I've seen. And for that to be his worst game and us to put up 30 and win on the road, like that says it all. That says it all, because I know damn well when Jimmy was playing his worst games, there were pick 8s. I'll tell you, the throwaways that you were talking about earlier, Jay, reminded me, like, I feel like Jittery Jimmy would have tried to force something and not thrown away a few times in a row. Jittery Jimmy would have tried to force something like we seen versus Kansas City on a 5-yard Hail Mary right there in the end zone, and that completely swung the game versus Kansas City. Real talk, it was that, you're on the 5-yard line and you throw an interception. That's the worst outcome. And so, hey, I thought the game plan was great by Shanahan. Great to push that thing in with Brock. We thought it was going to be a field goal. And I feel like Kyle is new, man. I feel like he's happier. Even just talking, when he does this even talking with Greg Papa one-on-one last year, he seemed a little some kind of a way. This year, he seems happy. I'll just flat out say he seems happy. But that's what trust can do. When you trust your quarterback, it can lighten you up, man. It can make you kind of it all matters. And to me, it feels like a brand new Kyle, and I'm loving it.
Who didn't get their defensive standouts out yet?
The dream.
Amin. No, I said Warner.
Oh, that's right. Amin, you are allowed to talk now.
Oh, I appreciate it. I appreciate the invitation back. So I mean, obviously you guys mentioned some of the players. Another player that I would mention is De'Amara Lenore with the interception he put out on like Instagram or something on his Insta story. Keep sending me those hate messages because I like reading them. It motivates me. But De'Amara Lenore was the interception. He had some really nice plays. I think he had a 1 pass breakup. He had one play where I think he was guarding Tutu Atwell, and like I think he pushed him out of bounds on one of them. Like it wasn't like the thing about De'Amara Lenore is that like when Ambry Thomas, and I'm just saying this just because I was going up against Tutu in fantasy. Tutu Atwell was cooking Ambry Thomas, and I was like, dude, get Ambry Thomas off this man, please, for the love of God. I'm gonna lose fantasy this week. They switch Demo onto Tutu, and Demo pretty much shuts him down for the most part. And I won fantasy by 15 this week. So like, I mean, I'm chilling. Thank you, Demo, for doing your thing. But I would say the biggest standout on defense would be Steve Wilkes. One thing that D'Amico Ryans was really freaking good at is that making those second half adjustments. You come out in the first half, things might not always be going so smooth. You come out in the second half, what adjustments are you going to make this defense more efficient and stop the opposing offense? And in the first half, I had to look it up. Because I saw this on Twitter yesterday. In the first half, the Rams drives in the first half ended in a field goal, touchdown, and another touchdown. In the second half, the 49ers, the Rams' first drive had a punt, interception, field goal, interception, turnover on downs, and a field goal to end the game. Right?
Domination.
Right, but in terms of the way that Steve Wilkes came out and made those adjustments at halftime, and that's what D'Amico was phenomenal at. D'Amico in the first half, right? I'm not saying he was bad in the first half, but when the Niners defense did struggle in the first half, D'Amico would be able to adjust on the fly and come out in the second half, and the defense would be different, and the defense would be able to make those adjustments, and D'Amico would be able to make those adjustments. And Steve Wilkes did that yesterday, where the Rams offense was just simply not the same in the second half. It just wasn't. Everybody was playing way, way better. Definitely gave the offense more opportunities. So my biggest defensive standout would definitely be Steve Wilkes for making those adjustments. Because if he honestly didn't, I don't know if we'd be sitting here talking about the Niners going 2-0 this week.
And can I just add, just real quick, what's up, Livy's World and everybody in the chat? We're not ignoring y'all, but hey, we got to get into this, on Straight Outta The Bay. But I just want, hearing you say all this stuff, I mean, it just screaming out at me that we're doing this on game 2 for the team that normally doesn't start gelling till, game 6 or whatever it is. And we're doing this straight out the gate, and it's just lovely. And I'll just leave it there until we hit up the next subject. But it's game 2, Faithful, and we're smoothing. And it's just, hey, man, we got a special season. But I pray for health. Let's go.
I love it. I love the players you guys touched on because I got a lot of them written down. Fred Warner, Javon Kinlaw. One guy that was not mentioned who I want to talk about is this young pup, Drake Jackson. We saw the 3 sacks week 1, and I couldn't take my eyes off him yesterday. He plays with so much effort and so much hustle that it's contagious. It's the type of stuff that you want to have on defense. The Rams, they had this quick passing game going. There were a couple times like Kyron Williams, I think it was the first touchdown was on a screen pass, and it was like Bosa. That's what's probably one of the very few negatives there are about Bosa is that Bosa is wired like quarterback. Like, I'm going after the quarterback, that sometimes he'll beeline to the quarterback. You can drop a little screen pass over him, and get some linemen out in front. And it happened on one of the Rams touchdowns early in that game. But I circle back to another screen pass where Drake, no, he's not going to be fooled by that. He's sniffed it out like faster than any other player on that team. And he's the one who made the tackle for, I think it was a gain of maybe a yard. Whereas if Drake didn't sniff that out, Kyron had a lot of room to run with blockers out in front of him. So Drake, the 3 sacks last week, huge. That's big time. But it's also some of the subtle plays that he makes where he's hustling, where he's setting the edge. Because that's a huge priority when you're a defensive end. You got to set that edge to force running backs to have to cut it back up the middle towards your linebackers, towards your big defensive tackles. And Drake, I thought he had a really strong performance, and just his effort really stood out to me. And I had to shout him out. Keep playing like that, Drake.
Real talk.
All right, fellas. Hey, this next segment we got here is called Step Ya Game Up. All right. Niners won. There's a lot of positive, but I want to hear, some negative, and, who needs to step their game up. So that's this segment. Why don't we start it off with Jay?
Hey, absolutely. But first, I got to say what's good to everyone that's in the chat. Fable, Adam, Niner Fanatic, Bull Pup, Dwayne. I saw Livy's World. Raphael, appreciate the super chats. Appreciate the chat. G12 is in the building. I appreciate everyone tuning in.
What's up,
feel free to hit that thumbs up button as well. Absolutely. And Niner Fanatic beat me in fantasy, so I know he's happy. But hey, you live another week. But
how much? Because you were close last week, right?
Yeah, it was close, man, and he pulled away. I forgot what that number was, but he beat me. He beat me.
2 nail biters.
It was close though. But there were definitely some players I want to see more out of, and this one guy I'm going to mention, it's not really his fault, but this guy didn't even show up on the stat sheet yesterday. When I'm talking about running back Elijah Mitchell. Now, it's partly Shanahan's fault. CMC has had 42 carries through the first 2 games, and I don't think that's too much. I think that's a solid number. 20 carries. I think that's good for CMC. I know games are hard to win in the NFL. You want to put your best guys out there, but you got to let other guys eat too. You got to let Elijah Mitchell eat. You got to, I mean, Jordan Mason, I think he should be more than a special teams player on this offense. I think he has more to give, but Shanahan's got to give these guys the opportunity. So it's kind of like, I praise Shanahan, but then also Shanahan, you got to improve. You got to give these other guys opportunities because CMC, he should have a few offensive snaps off, and let's give the ball to Elijah Mitchell. I know the first week he gave him 5 carries, he only got 10 yards, so it wasn't impressive. But I want to see more at Elijah Mitchell, and he just needs to get that opportunity from Shanahan. So it's kind of a it's a player and coach answer. And there, I got some other names, but I'll leave some meat on the bone. And what do you guys think?
Yeah. If they don't get mentioned, let's go back to you, Jay. But Amin, who on this Niners team are you looking at and you're saying step your game up?
I was about to. Jay kind of stole my point, but it really isn't Elijah Mitchell's fault. I feel like it's Kyle. In this week, I feel like you might need to have played CMC because it was a close game, right? It was like a back and forth until near the fourth quarter, end of the fourth quarter. But last week, like, you could have put Elijah Mitchell and you didn't need CMC to have more carries. So, like, involve other guys, right? Like, involved Elijah Mitchell. Elijah Mitchell was a dog before CMC got here. Like, he was a baller, right? And then Jordan Mason also, when he got his limited opportunities, he's been a baller for the 49ers. So let other guys eat also. If we're winning it, like, hypothetically speaking, if we're playing the Giants and we're up by like 15 or 20, and it's like nearing the end of the third quarter, early fourth quarter, don't put CMC back out there. Like, give Elijah Mitchell some carries, give Jordan Mason some carries. Let those guys eat also, especially considering that CMC, as much as he's a dog, he's had injury concerns in the past, and he's had injury history. So, I mean, like, let the other guys eat. One guy that he's a dog, and I love this guy, and you mentioned Fred Warner, but I feel like Fred Warner already gets that recognition for being one of the best linebackers in the league. Another guy that doesn't get that much recognition and is starting to pick up recognition from the league is Dre Greenlaw. Dre Greenlaw is a dog, but the only thing where I'll say step your game up is just the penalties, man. Sometimes he's just too over aggressive. There'll be a guy on the floor and he'll freaking like rock elbow this man, like, you know, the people, like, I don't know what that finisher is called.
Trying to punch the ball out.
He'll straight up, you know, do the people's elbow on the dude. I'm like, dude, like, he's down on the floor, like, let this man be, right? But like, that's the thing about Dre Greenlaw. Like, he's like a bullet. He's out there.
He just loves to hit people, man.
No mercy. No mercy.
I know, but that's the thing though. Like, Dre, man, like, you a dog, but man,
those
you got
15-yard penalties. 15-yard
I
penalties.
thought that was a phantom call though. What did he do? He tackled him to the ground. Like, he didn't let him get up right away, but you don't call a penalty for that, right? I mean, guys do that all the time. I didn't see what he did. It didn't look egregious.
I mean, regardless of even that, right? The thing about Dre Greenlaw is throughout his
entire reputation
career, he's always a little bit too aggressive, right? And sometimes his over aggressiveness, especially in today's NFL, right? Because back then maybe you could get away with that stuff, but in today's NFL, they'll call you for anything. Like, they'll call you for a lot of stuff. So, like, especially in a situation where, like, let's say it's a third and 3, or like, and Dre Greenlaw pulls something like that and they don't convert, or like a 3rd and 5 and they don't convert, and then Dre Greenlaw's hitting dudes on the floor and elbowing them and jumping on top of them from the top rope. I'm like, dude, you gotta
set the tone, man.
The ref pulls out the flag. He's like, automatic first down, penalty on number 57. I'm like, Dre, you a dog, but just, you gotta, like, I wish Fred, I don't know if Fred has ever come over to Dre and be like, dude, you gotta chill a little bit. You gotta tame yourself a little bit.
Man, you're making me think of how Dre, the one thing about, I love that nastiness on defense, but there are times where he gets to trying to punch the ball out, and he'll cock back and throw 3-4 punches. I'm like, whoa, bro. Like, that's when I'm like, hey, I don't want you getting ejected or something. I don't want them to take that, like, you know, some kind of way. So great points. I mean, you know, step your game up. You came with the Boston accent. I'm not very good at it, but step your game up, get in the car, or however it is. But man, get in the damn car. Something like that, man.
Kels, please, respectfully, don't ever say that again. Kels, especially
at least I try, bro. Hey, I try, bro. Hey, I gotta try, man. I gotta. If you don't, opportunity. If you don't you'll miss 100% of the shots.
Exactly.
You don't take.
Hey, that's a valid point, Kels. I was just about to say that. That's a valid point, bro.
Hey, man, he was actually my standout for offense, but I'm gonna just do it, man. Freaking Spencer Burford was absolutely atrocious. Did y'all see that PFF grade? He did so freaking absolutely horrible. He put up a 0. He did so bad that even Aaron Donald didn't collect a stat. He got a 0. Donald got a 0. It was just absolutely. I'm just being funny right now. I'm trying to think.
No,
of
you know what,
negative.
Kels? I'm a piggyback off of that. It's
But
PFF. Step your game up.
Step your game up, PFF. There it is. Hey, thank you, baller. You came. Hey, you rescued me on that one, man. But I did see one tiny little thing that wasn't on the field that some people could be like, it's whatever. But I don't know if it's Jed York or Ray McLeod that needs to step their game up, because when Brock and Ray were coming into the locker room, there's Mr. York just standing at the door, kind of like, welcoming in players. I was like, that's pretty dope, man. You see John Lynch on the field at the end of games being real heartfelt to players. You see Kyle starting to open up, being a little bit more lovey and this and that. But I did see Brock shake Jed's hand, but I seen Ray just go straight. I'm pretty sure Jed was out there with his hand out and everything, and freaking Ray was just like, didn't even see him. Yeah, so I'm like, man, hey, do you need to step your game up, Jed? Have you done something to Ray? Are you kind of in Ray's doghouse? I know you're the owner, but we seen back in the day when Jim Harbaugh was like, now this is a man's meeting. You got to do it moving, Jed. So shit, did I just say that? Hey, man, I had to throw that in there because it's hard in this game to really pick a player out. I mean, nobody, in my opinion, I don't think anybody did horrible. I almost wanted to say Lenore, because Lamore was just getting eaten up by the curl route over and over and over, but then he redeemed himself. He got the pick. He stepped in front of one when it mattered most. So that was kind of my one guy, was Lenore, if I'm being real, but he did redeem himself. So I was a good bounce back. Step your game up, PFF. Jesus Christ.
Facts. And I'm going with Brock. I'm saying, hey, Brock, there may be some of these games where you got to hit that 40-yard throw down the field. And you didn't miss by much. And I'm confident that you're going to get in the lab, you're going to practice, you're going to rep it, and you're going to hit it next time. But hey, just looking at the throws that I saw, Brock, step your game up. You got to hit those throws down the field. Debo, if you hit that throw to Debo, I win my fantasy game. Okay. That was like a 50-yard bomb. And that would, with the TD, that would have done it for me. So Brock, you missed that one. Step your game up. And I think he will. That's the thing. And the other thing, I'm still not over Steve Wilkes. It sounds like Amin's ready to crown him. Hey, Steve.
Hey, I never said nothing about crowning him. I just said the fact that he made those adjustments.
You're right. I'm putting words in your mouth.
I'm never crowning the dude.
That's my bad. That's on me. That's on me. I'm putting words in your mouth. But Steve, I was frustrated with him in that first half because he was playing just this soft coverage. Kels, you spoke about it. Demo's playing off. They're giving up all these easy curl after easy curl. Even Ward or even Ambry Thomas before he got hurt. Like, it was just easy completions. And I was getting worked up about it. And Steve did seem to correct things in the second half. But, hey, during that first half, I did not like the soft coverage. I wanted to see, there's different ways of being aggressive. You can be aggressive by blitzing 5 or blitzing 6, but you can also be aggressive in your coverage, playing tight, kind of
switch it up.
Daring, maybe 2-2. 2-2 might be able to run by you, so you got to respect 2-2 speed. But Puka, he hasn't been winning like deep down the field. Challenge Puka at the line, like get up on him, and make him feel uncomfortable. Van Jefferson's not running by anybody. Yeah. So there was I wanted to see a little more aggression in the coverage. So, my 2 step your game ups, Brock Purdy, you got to hit those throws, and Steve. Maybe you do some in-game adjustments. Maybe if you wait till halftime one of these times, it might be a little too late, because if the offense is sputtering early, now you're in a hole. Luckily, the offense was able to keep up. tie it up at halftime to make those adjustments. But it was real soft early, and I'm not a fan of it because it was a lot of easy completions. But hey, it worked out. Niners win. We're nitpicking here, fellas.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You
It's
know,
hard to pick one
Right.
person. Hey, and like Trent Williams got his wish. I can't believe we didn't bring up Trent all game because he created a lot. They've been running a lot more to the left. I don't know if y'all noticed this year, a lot more to the left. They used to run a lot to McGlitchy's side. But yeah, man, it's I lost my train of thought, man. I got a
Yeah.
lot going on right
Hey,
now
Baller.
You know, it was-
behind the scenes.
Baller, when you said crown him, instantly in my mind, I was thinking of that Dennis Green interview where he was
Hey.
I
like,
know.
"You
That
wanna
was
crown him? The crown. The Bears are who we thought they were, and we let them
Hey, I
down."
just
Off the hook.
I just want to mention, I think I agree with Baller. I would have liked to see Wilkes kind of change it up in the first half, but I think it almost seemed like he was planting seeds. You know, like when you play Madden and you're playing against someone and they keep running the same route. They keep running the same route in the first half and it's super successful. And you're like, okay, I'm gonna make some adjustments in the second half. And in the second half, they try to throw that same route. Let's say it's a drag route. You put your D in a little zone and picks him off and takes it back to the house. So that's why I think Wilkes deserves some kudos, but also, yeah, I would have liked to seen you kind of change up in the first half, and maybe we could have prevented a touchdown. Because I would say someone who needs to improve was anyone who was guarding Puka. Nobody could guard this cat. I mean, 15 catches. It didn't matter if it was Mooney, Demo, Ambry, like no one could guard him. So that's definitely something that we gotta shore up. And like you said, it was soft zone coverage, so Puka would see that and he would just stop in the middle of two 49er defenders and he would catch a pass, or he would just be running wide open. Like you got to be able to combat that. But at the end of the day, we won the game. It's something we'll learn from. But yeah.
You just made me think too, Jay, that hey, you know, we're gonna see these guys again.
Yeah. Yep.
So you know, planting the seeds and not showing them everything, and just kind of you know. So
you gotta play chess, not checkers. That's
I like it. I like it. I like it, Jay. I'm going back to you because I feel like kind of out of the four of us, you're the one who's really up to date with the latest injury information. I know you're always on top of it. So, Jake, break it down. Who, if anybody, got injured yesterday? What updates you got?
Yeah, so the Niners are on a short week, obviously with the home opener on Thursday night. We saw Brandon Ayuk injure his shoulder on the game, and if the Niners would have practiced today, he would have been listed as a non-participant. But the Niners didn't practice because of the short week. Also, Ambry Thomas, he has a knee issue that he suffered in the game. He only played 14 defensive snaps and 2 snaps on special teams, but Ambry's got the knee, Brandon's got the shoulder, so it's something that Niners fans and NFL news definitely got to look out for updates throughout the rest of the week. But I would be surprised if it were me. I wouldn't even allow Ayuk to play. Like I think you should be fine to sit this one out. It's a short week. I give him kudos for just toughing it out because you could clearly see he was hurt. I'm sure they'll do. It didn't say in the news report if they did any MRIs or X-rays or anything like that, so it doesn't seem to be serious. Maybe it's just a stinger of some sort with Brandon, but it's definitely something that we'll have to monitor throughout the rest of the week. I would imagine the Niners practice tomorrow, and we'll see if Brandon and Ambry are out there.
It reminded me of a pinched nerve. You know, I've dealt with them in my shoulders. I've dealt with them in my lower back. I've hyperextended my back. I've had numerous injuries in the back and the neck, and man, those things are tough. But one thing about it, if it is something like that, it kind of really can't get worse. Like, you know, so hopefully it's not nothing like internal where it's, you know, and that's what it seems like. So
yeah,
we'll see.
If it's nothing torn, which it doesn't seem like, you know, on game day, maybe they just shoot it up. He goes out there and plays as much as he can. And maybe it's just like a pain issue. Like some guys can deal with more pain than others, you know.
I don't think the Jets would have traded for Lance. I think they would. They're in the market for a veteran. They already have like their young quarterback kind of project, Zach Wilson. So I don't think they would have. But just to kind of put a bow on the injury
Hey,
topic,
Baller,
I see it.
what's up?
real quick on that question. Simply just think about it, right? Like, I'm gonna break this down real quick. You have Zach Wilson and Trey Lance in the same draft class, both really young, both really unexperienced. The difference is one guy knows the system and has been there all off season, whereas the other guy doesn't know the system and would have to come in and learn the system and learn the playbook. And it's not like one's way better than the other, right? We don't know necessarily. And one's played more and knows the coaches, knows the receivers, and has played more with those guys. So they wouldn't have even thought about it. I don't even think they would have even made a call. Even if the Niners or Cowboys were willing to trade him for 7th, I don't think they would have made the call because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And while
Hey,
we're on
man.
the topic, Zach, step your game up because you're still making me look bad. I was the one pounding the table. Zach Wilson's going to be a stud. Zach, you're making me look bad. Like, you can still rectify this and all this, make Baller look good if you actually want to play better. So
Didn't he throw 3 interceptions yesterday? I think that ship might have sailed.
Thank God Baller is not a QB scout. My goodness. I mean, if the Niners ever decide to call up Baller and hire him as a QB scout, or like a scout, I mean, who knows who he's coming with? Like,
well, at least you know you got something in common with Kyle Shanahan, so you're not in that bad of a boat. You know what I'm saying? Like, now, I did want to. My Trey Lance thing hasn't panned out, but I mean, God, man, there were times on the field. I will say this: when Trey had his opportunity, he looked way better than Zach Wilson, in my opinion, with the opportunities that he was given. Of course, Trey looked more shaky. You know, one played more, but I do want to say this: when you were touching on Elijah Mitchell and CMC. I learned a nugget. I don't know if you guys seen when Jesse Naylor, he went to the Pittsburgh game and he mentioned it specifically that there was one main thing. And if y'all don't know Jesse Naylor, Last Second Sports, go check him out. I'm sure if you know us, you know him. One of the best in the game. Shout out. But he mentioned how specifically how CMC looked like he was the one saying whether he will or won't come out or he will go into the game or come out of the game. He said there were times where he was like, nah, like I'm staying in. And so I got to really thinking about that, especially with someone like Kyle Shanahan. But, you know, it doesn't seem like he's a guy who would let something like that fly. But I think this is like a legacy year. This is one of those years where if we go on and win the Super Bowl, I feel like CMC is like, this is my first taste of like a winning team like this. Yeah. And if we're going to make an historical year, man, I'm getting the chills right now. If we're going to have an historic year that's going to be remembered like 1994, I want to be the guy where my name is engraved into the stone. Like I was one of the main dudes. I didn't take no plays off. I went from beginning to end. And that's why we're freaking champions. And, you know, no, I'm not saying like a bad pride, just that legacy, you know, that's what some of the greats are great at. When you think about, you know, the greatest in the world, man, they're going to take it to heart. Like Deion Sanders prime time said, they are going to take it personal. They said, what about my mama? We're going to take it personal. You know, I feel like that's CMC. That's CMC right there. That's Bosa right there. That's Fred Warner right there. That's the leaders on this team. Brock, look, in his game 8, he takes it personal, what Pat P says, and says, I'm going to Ayuk. We're taking this shit personal. We're coming to take it this year. You know, so.
Kelts, man.
Tommy said, why?
That's very commendable, Kelts. Very commendable.
What's up? I almost said
Tommy.
What's up, Amin?
Kelts, Tommy. Go ahead, Baller.
Well, I just want to say Tommy can't hear. Tommy, I think you got too much wax in your ears. Tommy, get the Q-tips, dig in there, you know, get some earbuds. We're live. People are listening and commenting. So, Tommy, you got to get the ears checked out. But, Amin, what's up?
Kelts is hyping this. Like, Kelts is hyping me up so much. Like, and then I already know, I've been through this too many times. Like, Kelts, don't hype them up, man. Like, let's I'm gonna be level-headed this entire year.
You better live in the moment,
expectations up. As soon as I get my expectations up, watch Brock Purdy get hurt, or watch us blow another 20-point lead in the NFC Championship game.
I rebuke it, bro. I'm rebuking it. Hey,
I'm gonna blame you, Kels. I'm gonna blame you.
Blame me, bro. Hey, you better stay happy the whole
You gave me the hope.
You got the hope, you got the living water, bro. I give you hey, I will rebuke any negativity coming at you, even if injury does happen. It's going to be the next damn man up. We're coming. This team ain't playing no games this year, man, and we never do. Even when we had less, we're still coming out fighting like dogs the past few years. It ain't gonna stop anytime soon. You got this, Amin. We got this, baby.
Glassful says the best highlights of Trey are pics of his ex-girlfriend on IG.
Ooh.
Burn.
Ooh.
Burn. Hey, but thanks for the $2 though.
No, I would say CMC's attitude is commendable, but there's a reason why there's 53 guys on the roster. You got to have backups. You got to have them play. I mean, he doesn't need to take all the snaps. But hey, I appreciate his attitude though.
I'm curious to see CMC like all the years with the Panthers. Like maybe he's one of those unicorns that can carry that kind of load. And he knows
the last 2 years with Carolina, he was hurt, so that's another thing to consider. His injury history. I mean,
no, true. Hey, because you guys already know I'm like, I want that gas in the tank. I was preaching about it with Bosa being out the whole time. I'm just looking at the other side of it. You feel me? So, but nah, hey, you're spot on, Jay. It's like there's always going to be there's three sides to a coin, really, if you stand it straight up, the narrow road. But you know, there's always at least two sides of a coin. You feel me? So, hopefully, it does not come back to get us. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to see you stand up a coin. I want to see you stand up. Just show me how. I want to. Yeah, that could be. I want to see it. I believe there's only two sides until you show us the coin.
You've never seen a coin stand up, bro?
No, I'm trolling you. I'm trolling you. But okay, I want to put a bow on injuries, and then because we're gonna wrap this thing up in about 15. So injuries. Thanks, Jay, for breaking down the Niners injuries. Now. This Monday Night Football game, I got it on my mind. Nick Chubb. I hate when just superstars go down. Yeah. Nick Chubb is one of my favorite running backs in all the NFL. I love watching him. I think he's just extremely talented. And then you see, his knee get bent awkwardly today. And it just sucks. I'm just hoping for a speedy recovery for Nick Chubb because while he's not a Niner, as just a fan of football, I'm going to miss Nick Chubb.
And as a fantasy manager in two leagues.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have Nick Chubb in any of my 5 leagues, but it wasn't because I didn't want to get him. He didn't fall that way. So, Nick, speedy recovery. And then, fellas, hey, Saquon Barkley, running back for the Giants, one of the best backs in the league, who the Niners are playing here on short rest come Thursday. Saquon's out. Sounds like he's going to be out, he's going to miss this game for sure, maybe a few.
He's dealt with a few of them, but
yeah, and he's a dynamic player, so now we're going to see a heavy dose of Breida, the cheetah. But you can't sleep on this guy. I mean, we know the kind of game-breaking speed Matt Breida has. If he gets a crease, he can take it, and he's one of the fastest backs in the league. So you still got to be prepared to stuff the run, even with Saquon out, because Breida, he's no slouch. He's explosive.
I'm curious, man. When was the last time Breida has? No. I feel you, man. When you have that speed, I really want to go and look at the Giants' run game and the way they design runs and all that kind of stuff. Because I'm thinking about the best game I know it had to probably be with the Dolphins, where he had maybe a couple of good moments, but. Shanahan is a different breed, man. Shanahan is just different, man. And it was nice to see Raheem Mostert, help me win fantasy yesterday. Him still shining with the Dolphins. So, it's good to see him. His career still doing well, but we'll see what Breida got, man, without Shanny. That's going to be interesting. And hopefully he gets a good load
McDaniel,
too.
Though. He got McDaniel, though. I mean, I love McDaniel. Can I just I love
McDaniel too. That man bolted from the cameras.
Yeah, I mean, I just love McDaniel. Like the charisma and then what he's been doing with Tua this year. I mean, Mike McDaniel, he's honestly, him and Dan Campbell are probably my 2 favorite coaches in the league. And then I'll put Shanahan at 3. But like,
they're hella different. Yeah, I like that. I like that good combo.
Dan Campbell.
Yeah, kneecaps.
Whoa, are we really gonna go down this road right now? Baller, what was that look, Baller? What was that look?
What has Dan Campbell done?
I know a
What has
Zach
he
Wilson.
done?
I know a Zach Wilson and Johnny Manziel fan is not talking about Dan Campbell right now. I know he's not talking about Dan Campbell
Yeah,
right now.
Dan Campbell's got an assortment of trophies in his trophy case, right?
At least he's in the league. Like, at least he's still in the NFL.
Okay, let's move on. Because I want to get into this preview of this 49ers Giants game. We're gonna kick it around and kind of hear some key factors. Like, what are some keys to the game for the Niners to lock in this win? You know, I got to pull up the spread. I got to imagine that they got to be at least touchdown favorites.
They
Am I
should
right?
be.
Talking Niners.
yeah.
Okay, let's check it out here. Right now, the Niners are favored by 10.5.
Wow.
And that's
Right.
actually makes me a little like risque, because Thursday games, it's on short rest. It kind of, I don't want to say anything can happen, but I feel like those Thursday games, sometimes you just never know what you're going to get. Like, there's just weird shit that happens on these short rest Thursday games. But I'm going to go off with the first key to the game, because that's how I want to do it. And I'm looking at containing Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is extremely mobile. And, you know, I went while I was earlier in the day, I was watching what happened with the Giants and the Cardinals yesterday, because I know it was like the Giants were down and all of a sudden they came back to win. So I figured out what the heck was going on. The Giants were down 20-0 at halftime. This was after getting shut out week 1 against the Cowboys. So they were down. Daniel Jones got in his groove. And how did he get in his groove? It's extending, getting first downs with his legs. Then he'll buy some time, make a deep throw down the field. So really, it was like all the big plays or the back-breaking plays came off of Daniel Jones's mobility in his legs, whether he's scrambling for first downs or buying time to hit an improv play down the field. So Niners D-line, you got to contain him. Let's keep him in the pocket. You know, got to be disciplined with your rush lanes, because that is the only way that Giants offense got going. And especially without Saquon, I think it's going to put more emphasis on Daniel to run and just to kind of try to be this playmaker that he's really not. So I think if we keep him in the pocket, limit him on the ground, I think the Niners are going to they're going to sweep this one up rather easily. But why don't we kick it to you, Kelts? What are some keys to the game you see coming up here?
Man, surprisingly, I seen Dobbs.
Yeah,
He's a good quarterback, man. And I also want to say he had a nice, clean pocket on a ton of plays. And so my mind is like, Brock Purdy, this is your chance to hit some of those deep passes. If you was a little bit off with pressure down your face and you know, and whatnot, I don't even want to get into excuses and all that, but you're going to have a clean pocket sometimes. I know they got a good rusher, but for the most part, I mean, the Cardinals aren't just no pushovers. I mean, Connor was Connor is freaking good. Brown is good. Dobbs, he was throwing some nice passes and he had some good mobility, but the pocket was clean. I noticed, you know, they were running it, man. It's just, and then Daniel Jones, you know, it's hard for me to see him doing that versus a Fred Warner and a Dre Greenlaw. So I hate to say I feel like an easy win is coming because it's the NFL. Everybody's good in the NFL, man. That's just the way it is. You wouldn't be here if you weren't, you know, and anything can happen any given Sunday on top of that, like you were just mentioning, Baller, like a Thursday game. But I feel like this is a game. Anytime I expect something from Kyle Shanahan, it feels like kind of the opposite happens. You would think maybe he doesn't want to put that much of a beating through the run game and stuff like that. So I figured this is a game where you could kind of open it up with Brock, you know, and that's how I would try to take advantage of it. But then, you know, you got CMC, and there's no telling if we might see Elijah Mitchell even on a short week. I just feel like CMC is built different. I thought we would see a lighter load with CMC this Sunday versus the Rams because of the Thursday game, and that didn't happen. So maybe it's going to come this Thursday, or maybe we're going to see CMC being like, nah, man, I want to go every single time. So I'm looking for the clean pocket with Brock and for him to take his chances and correct it the very next game on a short week on prime time in front of the world.
No doubt. No doubt. Appreciate that. We got a super chat from Tommy. He said, Tommy is greater than baller, to which I'm going to say,
Hell no, to the no, no, no. Yeah, to the no.
Hell no. I can't. I'll be in the background doing the whole thing.
I want to hear a mean. I mean, what are you looking at, for this Thursday night matchup?
The only way the 49ers lose this game is if they beat themselves. Without Saquon Barkley, I just don't see a way where the Niners lose this game. Where the Niners lose this game by the Giants just straight up beating them. I think the only way that the Niners really lose this game is if the Niners have stupid penalties, missed tackles, and they beat themselves. Because without Saquon Barkley, and even going back to the last 2 weeks that the Giants have been playing, like, if you're down that bad against a Cardinals team, down 21 points against a Cardinals team, getting blown out by the Cowboys, in those 2 games you had Saquon Barkley, and in this game you don't have Saquon Barkley, and then on top of not having Saquon Barkley, what makes Daniel Jones, what Daniel Jones' strengths, even with Daniel Jones' strengths of him, being able to run and have that running ability or to extend plays, if Nick Bosa and Hargrave aren't getting the pressure on you and you try to do that, you have Fred Warner, you have a Talanoa Ufanga, you have a Dre Greenlaw that are going to storm right at you like a bullet. So regardless, I think the only way that the 49ers really lose this game is if they beat themselves by not playing good football. But otherwise, besides that, I don't see any situation where the Giants just come out and play like the better team and straight up beat the 49ers.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Jay?
Hey, I would love to hear what the chat feels is a key to victory for our Niners on Thursday. Feel free to leave that in them comments. But who are the New York Giants? Are they the team that, the Cowboys beat the brakes off of them week 1, 40-0, or are they the team that got down by 20 at half, but they showed heart, grit? They showed they got a pair and came back and won in Arizona. So which team are they? They're going to be without, obviously, Saquon Barkley, so that's going to be a huge blow to this team. I mean, Matt Breida, I got respect for you, like when you were with the Niners, but he hasn't really been productive since he's left. He's been with the Dolphins. He was with the Giants. He's been basically an average running back, so I'm not really expecting much from him. I think one key is we got to make sure Daniel Jones, as Barry Baller mentioned, stays in the pocket, but we also have to make sure that offense is one-dimensional. If they're able to run the ball, kind of like how the Rams did, I think that could make it a much closer game. I think if we slow down the Giants' running game, make Daniel Jones beat us, I think we'll be in good shape. I mean, I don't know if anyone's watched Daniel Jones this season, but I mean, he's thrown 3 interceptions already in 2 games. The Niners, we've got a few interceptions from our defense. So make Daniel Jones throw the ball 40, 50 times. That allowed this defensive line to get after Daniel Jones. And, that means opportunities for our secondary to get some picks. So that would be my key. Make the Giants offense one-dimensional and let the Giants pass rushers eat. And our secondary should be able to make plays in passing situations.
Funga, pick 6. I can see it.
I can see it.
Hey man, hey, I'm thinking about them pinning you. You're talking about throwing 40 times. I'm just thinking about them pinning their ears back. Like, oh man.
And I think we should win this game by more than 10. I think. And in the 4th quarter, Shanahan, please, I'm begging you, if you happen to be watching this, please allow Elijah Mitchell, JP Mason to get some burn. Don't have Bosa out there with 3 minutes left in the 4th quarter. We up by 2 touchdowns. What you doing, man? Come on.
I already know Shanahan. Shanahan locks himself in the 49ers facility, locks the door, and he grabs a bowl of popcorn. He turns on Straight Outta The Bay Mondays, 8 o'clock. Like, that's what he does. He's like, Before I game plan for Thursday, before I do films, like if I do anything, I gotta hear what my boys are saying. I know.
Out of the
guaranteed.
4 picks, love it, man. Hey, real talk.
Hey, it's about that time we're gonna go around. I want to hear. It sounds like Jay's thinking it's going to be a double-digit win for the Niners, but let's go around. I want to hear those score predictions.
Hey, also want me to give the results from last week? Holy shit.
Let's hear
Hold
it.
on.
Yeah, let's
Hey,
hear
what was the final score to the game?
30 to 23.
I'm just now looking at this right now and just hopped out at me. Jay in the Bay said 30 to 20 freaking 3.
Wow.
So Jay in the Bay freaking nailed it.
Nice.
Amin said 27-13. Hey, real talk.
Appreciate it.
There it is. Hey, that was hey, it's not every day you nail a score prediction like that.
Yeah.
We did it.
That's probably the first time ever.
Hey,
Easy.
you nailed that.
Easy.
Hey, I said 34-17. Baller said 35-20, which wasn't far off. And then Amin said 27-13. And then we all gave X Factor players, which it looks like Jay came up with a good one too. But Amin said Ayuk and Drake, which they both did well. Jay said CMC and Kinlaw. They both did well. Baller said Debo and Bosa. They both did well. And then there was me, Kittle, and Hufunga, who did everything so freaking dope, but it just didn't come up on the stats. Yeah, man. So that was last week's results, the game within the game, man. We're going to get into these predictions and take it away, Baller.
Hey, I'm going. I think it's gonna be a blowout, fellas. I'm sticking with the threes. 33 to 3. The Giants can only muster a field goal. I really think this pass rush is gonna kind of do something similar to what the Cowboys did to the Giants week 1, where that pressure is going to be all around Daniel Jones. And while he's a big guy in stature, 6'5", he's going to shrink in the moment. They're going to just swarm him and he's going to struggle. He's probably going to throw a pick. He might fumble. I think this defense is going to make Daniel Jones' life a living hell. 33 to 3.
Bro, I'm getting Browns back in the day. Baker Mayfield, where he was Baker or whatever, and he planted the flag. Like, you're giving me.
I was at that game. That was a Monday night game. Actually, Breida busted like a 70-yard touchdown run in that game. And I was sitting he ran right past me.
So I'm about to be there Thursday, man. I'm about to be
there.
It.
Let's go, Kels. Represent.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm actually doing something for the youth too, man. I'm actually volunteering to help the less fortunate youth be able to play sports and football out here in the community, man. So I got a little hookup on volunteer opportunities. I'll hit y'all up after the game, man. It's a wonderful freaking thing, but you get to go to the game at the same time and work, and it's dope, man. So I'll hit y'all up after and let y'all know what's up.
Sounds good.
Yeah, hey, I want to hear that score prediction, Couch.
All right, man. So here it is, man. I haven't thought about it. Hey, 30. It feels like 30. It's 30 Purdy, man. So I almost want to, but you know what? I feel like he's going to connect. I feel like there's going to be not just one, like 2019 versus the Saints, where Jimmy Garoppolo had his breakout moment, but it isn't going to just be just that moment. Of course, the way the offense is set up and all those things, it feels like it's going to be more contained on, using the CMC. Those are the teams that are going to win a Super Bowl. You got to have the D in the run game. So Purdy isn't going to do it consistently, but I feel like if there is a good op, this is it for CMC. So I'm going to go ahead and say 41 to freaking 17. I'm thinking if 41 is the right number I'm searching for. Yeah, but 41-17, 49ers. And I'll just give my X Factor players at the same time. 41-17. And I'm going to just go ahead and say Brock. And then I'm going to say Greenlaw on defense. Yep, that's it, man.
Facts.
Hey, my score prediction for the game. I know with Brock, we've scored 30 points pretty much every start he's had, or I should say every start and finish he's had. But I think it's a short week. I just have a feeling Shanahan's not going to do anything too crazy. I do think we'll get a turnover or two. Maybe one will get a return for a touchdown. But I'm going to say Niners win 27-10. That's what I'm gonna say. 27-10 Niners.
That's a good score.
Hey, you got some X factors because Kelts.
Oh, yeah.
We do X
So,
factors.
okay. Defensively, I'm gonna go with Huff. I like how he played last week. Like, he's always physical. He's always chirping, and I love that, especially from a defensive player. So I think Huff gets a pick in this game. And offensively, I'm going with. I think I'm gonna go with Debo. He had a hell of a game last week. Ayuk may be limited, so I think they may feature Debo a little bit more. I mean, Debo led us in catches last week, or yesterday. So yeah, I think it'll be another Debo game for sure. He's my offensive X factor.
I mean,
X factor, give me Kittle offensively. I think he gets a touchdown in this game. I think you might see him in the receiving game a little bit more, especially considering the fact that Ayuk might not play in this game. Defensively, I'll say it's the Nick Bosa game. I think Nick Bosa has been great this entire season so far. I don't think he's necessarily been bad for us, even though there's nothing on the stat sheet. But I think he gets a sack, his first sack on Thursday Night Football this week. Score prediction, it's a short week, Thursday night. I don't know what's up with Thursday nights, but teams always start off slow on Thursday night. I'm going to go with something similar to like Jay. I mean, 28-10, 28-13 maybe. I would say 28. Niners score 20 near 28 to 31, somewhere around that. Either they get, I think I can see.
What's up with this vague BS? I mean, we got to pin you down.
You know. We'll put this down. 31-31, 31-13.
31-13.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And as far as I gave my score prediction, I didn't give X factors. I'm gonna go Jawan Jennings. I think he's gonna have some clutch third down catches, maybe a touchdown. Defensively, I'm gonna go back to Bosa. I'm gonna keep saying Bosa till he has like a back breaking play, what big time sack, forced fumble. So I'm going back to the well on Bosa. Hey fellas, we're about to wrap it up here. Let's kick it around. Any final thoughts? Anything you want to plug? Everyone watching, like this video right now. It's not too late because we're going to pump up the algorithm for future views. So hit the like, subscribe to all these fellas. Let's go around and kind of give your final au revoir. Kelts.
Hey, we appreciate y'all. You know we do. We love. Hey, I love to come here on Mondays and chop it up with each one of y'all. Real talk. It's another freaking Monday, a victory Monday. Randy Daytona with the 3-0, man. Hey, we're here for it. Man, I don't want to get too crazy and too hyped up. My prediction all year since May was 14-3. My prediction last year was 13-4. It wound up happening. And another one with Blue True. Yee!
Appreciate you, Blue True.
Much love to everybody. Hey, like Baller said, hit the like. Leave comments. Tell us where we went wrong, how we can improve. All those good things, man. Engage with us. I'm gonna try to slip in another show because I do love to read every single comment and just really elaborate with the guest, even though I can't see y'all. Maybe do a call in. What's up, Low Jackson? Real Talk 3113. But I'm trying to squeeze that in there. So stay tuned, man, because it's a great year, man. So we appreciate everybody, and I appreciate the panel as well, man. It's always good.
Tommy. Hey, I echo Kelt's sentiments. We appreciate everyone that came through tonight. Obviously, there's a ton of content creators, I'm sure, on right now. So we appreciate everyone tuning in. And make sure you subscribe to all of our channels. We appreciate it. Plus the Straight Outta The Bay YouTube channel. And yeah, man, the Niners, hey, we undefeated. Do we have room to grow? Absolutely. But I like what I've seen so far. And it's just the beginning of the year. We can definitely continue to improve and get better. But hey, I think we should be 3-0. There's no reason why we should lose this game.
Yeah,
versus the Giants, unless we turn over the ball, unless we have a bunch of penalties, we beat ourselves. But hey, I like where this team is headed, and I'm looking forward to Thursday night, the home opener at Levi's. Can't wait.
20-0.
Amin, take us home.
I appreciate everybody in the chat. Appreciate the support, and you know how I always end all the shows. Bang bang Niner gang.
Bang bang Niner gang.
Let's get it done.
Bang bang Niner gang.
Bang bang.
Hey
Niner.
fellas, Had a blast. Can't wait to talk next week on Monday. It's always a good time. Chat was live. Appreciate everybody who stopped by. Hey, Niners, let's go get this dub. Amin, you missed it, but I haven't shaved my stash since football season started. And to my wife's dismay, I said, I ain't shaving it till the Niners lose. And
20-0.
She wasn't too thrilled about it, but hey, it's going down. So hopefully we get a long, kind of nasty, ugly looking stash from
Bro, you ain't even gonna like shorten it up or nothing. You can just like so.
No.
What if we go to, bro? That would be dope if we go 20
Hey,
and
listen,
bro.
it would be
That
worth it
thing
though.
is
It
gonna
would
be
be
hella
worth it
long.
though. It would be worth it though.
Mm.
Like I mean, if we do win the Super Bowl, I wouldn't. If I was
Oh,
following
let's
his
do-
wife, I wouldn't
Amin-
let him cut it.
Amin can't shave either now. No, I'm just
Nobody say.
I'm like, hey,
Nobody
like,
say.
he's not growing anything. So
hey,
All
I
right.
mean, like, you know, we got to keep it clean over here.
All right, fellas. Hey, thanks for stopping by, and make sure you subscribe to all the channels. We're gonna be getting this thing popping every Monday.
Yay. Faithful, rise up. Yay. We getting it, boy.
What's good? You know who it is. It's your boy, Jay in the Bay.
Your baller back again. Smells like football season.
Yo.